Hi Needham, and welcome to What's My House Worth. My name is Rob Tickton. This is Ryan McDonald. We are realtors with Hawthorn Properties, and we're here today to go over the sales for the month of, Ryan?
December, Rob.
December, so that would make it essentially the last show of 2018, even though it's airing in 2019. Also may or may not be the last show ever, Ryan, as we are going to be going on a hiatus to start 2019. Whether or not we're back by popular demand, I don't know, we'll see. But for now, let's just call it a series ender. You going to be okay, Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, all good things must come to a hiatus.
That's true.
You know, we have to go off and explore some creative opportunities elsewhere.
There you go, right.
But, you know, we'll never be more than a stone's throw away.
That's true, and you'll always know how to reach us. And so before we get too emotional, wanted to go over a little bit what we're going to be doing on the show. Obviously, the month of December, as Ryan alluded to. Also, we'll be going over the year, 2018, seeing how that shook out. And then lastly, if we do have some time, maybe a segment of Who Wore It Better. All right, but we'll see about that. In the meantime, it's amazing. Our last show, we finally basically wear the exact same shirt.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
Not on purpose, as you probably could have guessed. So let's take a look at the December sales data. And Ryan, unfortunately, not too many sales, so it does give us some extra time to talk about other things.
We have plenty of time for fluff this month, Rob.
Yeah,
14 December sales, dipping under $1 million for the average sales price, which is, we haven't been in this territory for a little while.
Right, but I don't think that's alarming, is it, Ryan?
No, it's not.
Okay.
But our percentages and our average days are outstanding.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Triple digits for both, huh?
Yeah, that's great news. And all of that coming in the fall market.
Yeah. It's a good sign.
Yeah.
So December sales, 14 doesn't seem like too many, but let's see how it stacks up with previous Decembers. And sure enough, when you look at it in the context of the month and years past, you see that 14 sales, it's not a lot.
No, it's meager.
It's meager, but October and November were both red hot months in terms of sales numbers. And like you said, the other numbers are also strong. I don't think it really means anything. Sales price is... It's a graph that usually we see a little bit of consistency with the previous 6 months, but not this time.
Yeah.
That's kind of up and down. Right?
Maybe December is our anomaly month.
Yeah, it appears to be. So 98 or 987 is the average sales price for December 2018. So I guess it's time to dip into the old bag for the 14 sales, right?
Yeah, why not? Let's do it.
All right, let's start low and work our way up. So our first sale that we're going to be going over is right there, Ryan, 125 Sachem Road. Yeah,
I mean, this one, coming out at the end of October and going 41,000 over asking in 4 days, I would say thumbs up to the homeowner.
Yeah, this neighborhood, of course, is right off of Highland Ave, very close to 128. You have that pocket as you're approaching 128 on Highland Ave. It's on the right side. Did you see the assessed value on this one, Ryan?
I did not.
$498,000.
Well, that's funny because you know what it sold for in 2009?
I'm going to guess somewhere around
$355.
Holy moly.
$355.
Yeah, that's a nice little gain. I got another one of those coming down in a few sales, yeah. So our next sale is over on Bess Road, another neighborhood that's it's quiet back there, certainly. And do we know?
Cemetery.
That's true. Do we know if this is a land sale?
It is a land sale.
Is that confirmed?
Yes. Well, the buyer was a builder.
Oh,
so.
all right.
11,761 is the lot size. Another one early on the market in early November, and bang, 3 days for over asking.
Yeah.
This is right at the 1 mile marker.
Oh.
So it officially sneaks in as a walk to town location.
Very good, Ryan. And I'll tell you what, we're going to unroll here a bunch of them that go way over list, which explains the triple digits for the percentages of sales price. And 26 Laurel, our next listing, is no exception. This, since this is our potentially last episode, we should give a little tip of the cap to the Laurels. Sure. Right?
It's good to be back to the Laurels. We haven't been back to the Laurels in a couple months.
Yeah, we were due. And so with that being said, the Laurels on fire like a lot of other neighborhoods.
In this one, Rob, after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So it wasn't anything like treading water in the fall market in September and October. This is when it's supposed to not be a good time to list. Like this is a lot of the week after Thanksgiving, sold in 7 days for quite $46,000 over asking.
The list. I don't know if you saw on the listing sheet. It said unimaginable potential is the phrase that best describes this home.
Quite a bit.
Well, I was going to say, what good is potential if it's unimaginable, right? I mean, you wanted to at least know what you can do with the house.
True.
But maybe it's just me. Anyway, let's go to the next listing. Okay. 21 Petrini Circle, Ryan, is our fourth. It is a land sale.
Correct.
All right, very good.
This one was a candidate for me for deal of the month for the buyer. I mean, because you've got, this is a 13,000 square foot lot in Broadmeadow on a cul-de-sac, and it's 780. I mean, you see lots going in Broadmeadow well into the 8s.
Yeah,
I mean, this is potentially a very good find for a builder.
It's on a cul-de-sac, but a little busy. It's getting busier
Can you have
around
a
there.
busy cul-de-sac?
Well,
how much traffic can be on it?
Of course, but I'm saying it's not a very big cul-de-sac, number one. And number two, once you get out of it, now that you have all those apartments up, it seems to be a little bit more of a high traffic area.
Okay.
Fair?
All right, I'll allow it.
If you want to fight during our last episode, I'm game.
Maybe they'll put a traffic light in at the end of that cul-de-sac and slow things down for you.
Yeah, or maybe they'll call it a cul-de-sac. Anywho.
Oh boy.
Next listing.
We're not gonna get through this.
I know, it's too bad. 100. Once we were wearing the same shirt, you knew we were going to be in a contest.
We got off on the wrong foot.
100 Barrett Street is the next. Ryan, this makes it 5 straight homes out of the gate to sell for more than 30,000 over list.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's big.
So this came on the market on a Wednesday, Ryan.
Okay.
And it sold on a Friday. Which means a buyer decided, hey, I want this house. I don't want anybody else to have a look at it over the weekend at the open houses. So I'm just going to throw an 825 fastball down the middle, hope they take it. And they did.
They did.
And there you go. And so it's, when you see a deal like this, chances are you have, a broker or two who have been in the game and they know what they're doing, because it can be a very unsettling thing for both the buyer and seller to do something like that.
Well, there's a big potential, I think what you're alluding to, is for cold feet from the buyer.
Yeah, or for the seller to think, what are we getting ourselves into?
Oh.
Either one.
Like, could we have gotten more if we waited?
Yeah, we've waited, we put it on the market.
There's room for second guessing on both sides.
No doubt.
And they kept it together, which is good.
Yeah, so it was. It seems like the right number in light of the circumstances, is what I'll say. And that house, by the way, sold for $570,000 back in 2009.
But it had some updates since.
Yes.
So.
But it needed a new roof, right?
And it had solar panels on the roof.
That weren't even in use.
Solar paneling.
Yes, right. That were decorative. 65 Douglas is next up. This one is in Broadmeadow. Ryan, what do you see here?
I mean, some updates, Rob. The first one to break the string of going over asking, but still a good number in 23 days. Just under 2,000 square feet. The lot was just under 10,000 square feet. Nice neighborhood, nice street.
Nice kitchen.
Nice kitchen. It looks like the kitchen was updated, but I don't know that the updates were throughout the house.
I would agree.
It was a targeted kitchen renovation, so maybe a few areas that might need some elbow grease, for the new owner, but we'll see.
Like that 2-car garage too.
No, just to pause for a second on the disclosure about the carpenter ants.
Of course.
What do you think about that?
That it was treated for carpenter ants? I mean, yeah, I'm fine with disclosing anything.
But is that listing sheet worthy?
Yeah, no, it might be a little bit over the top in terms of being a little bit alarmist.
A little bit, because it has you're trying to get out in front of everything and being transparent and forthcoming, but at the same time, the mere mention of ants and the mere mention of water, like things like that, are things that buyers can get turned off on, maybe unreasonably so. But why risk it?
Yeah, good point. Good observation, Ryan.
Thanks,
friends.
We'll see.
Next up, I need to get that out before I get to my deal of the month, because you always put yourself, out there when you do that.
Yeah.
11 Ivy Road is next up, and if you remember, you and I had a, albeit very brief conversation that you thought about maybe deal of the month for the seller, which I can see on the surface and how you could see that, but I did remember when I was at this house at 11 Ivy, I was brought back to the house directly across the street, which was 12 Ivy, which sold in April. So if we can kind of go back with a time machine and take a look, it's black and white. See that?
Right, because it's in the past.
Right. So 12 Ivy sold in April, as you see there. That sold for $880, Ryan.
Yeah, sure did.
3 beds, 1.5 baths, 2,000 square feet, $880. Okay. So now let's move forward 8 months. 11 Ivy. It sells for, what's that? $21,000 less. You've got an extra bathroom, which, oh, by the way, is a master bathroom.
Yep.
You've got another 200 square feet. And lot size is essentially the same. Everything else is almost, very rarely can we take two houses and hold them side by side like this.
Yeah.
But with this one, we can. And so when you do side by side, you could either say, well, they really overpaid for 12 Ivy.
Right.
But we're not talking about 12 Ivy.
No, we're not.
We're talking about 11 Ivy.
Kinda.
I know. But so for this reason, 11 Ivy is my deal of the month for the buyer.
All right.
All right.
I'm convinced.
Yeah, good. All right. Then let's go to the next listing. 29 Parker Road is next up. 933 is a pretty good number, don't you think?
It is.
For the buyer?
It's a lot of square footage.
Right, that's what I mean.
Oh, for the buyer.
I'm
yeah.
sorry. Yes, for the buyer.
Yeah, I mean, I did, a couple double takes on it because it's it's updated. I mean, it got 35,000 over asking in 6 days, and again in the fall market. So hats off to this fall market, by the way.
Yep.
This one has a nice floor plan, a first floor master with deck access. It's been updated. It's on the flat side of Parker, 10,000 square foot lot. I think the buyer's probably pretty psyched. They paid over asking, but I'm sure there were other people competing. I think the buyer's pretty happy with this.
Yeah, I do
to
too.
come in under $1 million and get all of that.
Yeah, that's a good number for
So
sure.
good for them.
Yeah, that's a lot of space, like you said, Mitchell School District. Sure. Next listing is a house that you and I both walked through and had a lot of opinions about. I mean, this is a type of house that either you love it or you don't.
Right.
I think you and I both really liked it.
Yeah, it was very cool.
Yeah,
very unique. Not to steal the agent's tagline, but a very cool house.
Yeah, it was a cool house.
It's like a stone cottage. It's bigger than it appears. It's over 3,000 square feet.
And it's on Greendale, but you really don't even see it as you drive by because it is such a big lot, 32,000 square feet,
it's
right?
Three-quarters of an acre. You're insulated from Greendale via a long driveway, which has its own issues, but whatever. It has some updates, but it still has that stone cottage feel. I mean, you can go in there and make it more updated or more, but at the same time, don't make it less charming because it's a cool house. The only thing I didn't love, just from a logistical standpoint, is you have to walk through the garage every time you go to and from the mudroom / laundry room.
Yeah, right.
Which would get, to me,
that
would get old.
Right.
But I mean, I think you could probably make that go away with spending some money. But this one was, how do you price it? There's nothing like it in town.
No doubt.
But testament to the agent and the homeowner, they priced it at $979. They got $969, and it only took 8 days. So they priced it right.
Yep.
So an interesting buy.
Yeah. Agreed.
I like that one.
Yeah, I think we both did. You'll find our next listing over near Birds Hill, and the address for that one is 121 Dawson Drive. And I know you and I put we put the huge price reduction with the exclamation points there because I know you and I feel a little bit differently about having that in there. I'm more of a fan of having it in there. You don't like it. You think it seems desperate. I mean, I don't love it. It makes if I'm the owner of the house, I don't like seeing that on my listing. Even though, look, it's the agent's job to sell the house and get the people through the door. So does that bring buyers in? But you're almost putting your house on sale. It's like, look. Well, sometimes you got to put your house on sale. Well, I think it's okay as long as it's not there for very long, right? I mean, if you put that in there and then all of a sudden you get a crowded open house and multiple offers, then hey, it works, right? But if it doesn't happen, then you want to just go in and just delete that little phrase. So interestingly enough, this one, Public Record has this sale as at 1.1 million even, as opposed to 1.13. So something is amiss. Something isn't quite adding up. But this one sold for $950 in 2014, so not too long ago. Yeah. Alrighty, over on Brackett Street, 15 Brackett Street. You want to talk about disclosures? Yes. You see the disclosures here? I mean, it basically put the home inspection report as a disclosure, and I mean, I'm in favor of being out in front of stuff. Right, but you can't disclose away everything. Right. That cracked tile, broken window seal, chipped cooktop, central vac not used, irrigation. It was a lot to put on a listing sheet. Just because you disclose that on a listing sheet does not mean that the buyer can't come back and say, "Hey, we want some of these things addressed." Right. Like I get it, and we've been on the other side of this in previous shows, saying, "Hey, it's a good idea to be out in front of something like that." Because now you can say, oh, well, you should have factored that into your offer. Right. But you can't disclose away everything. Right. But and you're not trying to infer that you should be concealing it. It's just you don't have to necessarily right out of the gate throw that on the listing sheet. That's something that can be talked about when people come to the house. Yeah, you have a disclosure form that can be an adjunct handout like that. There's ways to do that without putting it all on the table. Oh, very good. Great use of the word adjunct. Thanks. I think that's the first time you've used that in I don't even know what it means. 6 shows. Yeah. Well, then I apologize for pointing it out. 209 Valley Road is the next listing. This one sells for $128,000. This was new construction in 2003. Right. Did you see what it sold for? $785,000. Isn't that something? It is, and it was purchased for $315,000. So somebody bought a lot. Yeah, right. Built a house. This is like, I thought I was in Georgia. No kidding. 2003, is it that long ago? I didn't think it was, but maybe it is. It doesn't feel like it is, but yeepers. Mm-hmm. So that one, nice appreciation in 15 years. And they finished the basement too. Okay, a $785,000 to a $128,000.
1.80.
Yeah.
So good job. And this is on Valley, but does not have 128 in the backyard.
Oh, okay. That's certainly noteworthy.
Sure.
Over to 74 Hillcrest Road. We'll find the next one. This was a custom build, Ryan, back in not very long ago,
Nope.
2014.
Yep.
Tiny lot, 6,000 square feet.
Yep.
And really, you don't see many new construction homes that are only, and I put the word in quotes, 3,000 square feet.
Right.
But I thought it was done very well.
It was laid out tremendously well, Rob.
Yes.
I think it was a great use of a limited amount of space to still get some rooms that were both open, and then there were some private rooms in the house. I mean, it's on the first floor, that is. I mean, it was a really nice layout. Did not feel cramped. Very modern, nice finishes, and did well. And I did, just looking at the specs on this, it is new construction on a very small lot. I looked back 5 years, Rob, 92 sales of houses on lots this size.
Mm-hmm.
And of all of those 92, only 4 of them sold for more than this house.
Right, one was on Manning, right, that just sold.
Yeah, and 2 of them I sold, so I had to plug that in there. Although
okay.
that wasn't what I was searching for.
Oh, okay.
But so only 4 out of 92 sold for more than this one did. So this one topped out with what it had. And then looking at just generally, you mentioned the square footage, like 3,100 square feet. Looked at 4-bedroom homes, and at 31 and under. In the last 3 years, there's 275 of them. And I mean, there's, your top 2 sellers are on that 275. It's this one and the one we're about to talk about.
Huh, how about that? Wow,
So
that's a great set. I was wondering where you were going with
2
that.
very unique homes when you look, as they compare to
That was
their peers over the last few years.
I tell you, for a house that wasn't your deal of the month, that was
Yeah.
quite a bit of research.
Thanks.
So good job. Way to end off on a high note here.
Right.
All right, we just put a note here. Okay, so let's bring it to our last listing. We haven't had new construction yet, and
Yeah, we still don't.
we still don't. Correct. 122 Valley Road is the big seller, Ryan.
Wow.
For 139, that's a low big seller
It
to
is.
close out
It
the
is.
show with.
And
But
no new construction in the month of December.
yeah, how about that?
How about that?
So why don't you tell us a little bit about your deal of the month?
So, I mean, yeah, so like I mentioned, this is the most expensive home that is sold in the last 3 years that has 4 bedrooms and is under 3,100 square feet. So that right there kind of inches it towards a deal of the month for the seller. And it's a 2016 house. It's not overly large. It's on Valley. You do have 128 in the backyard. I just feel like anytime you're spending at the absolute top of something's price point, then the value probably isn't there, and you're paying a premium for the product. And I just think that there are other options in Needham for that price point where you might be getting a little bit more for your money.
All right.
So that's why I thought this was my deal of the month for the seller.
Okay, very good. Your last deal of the month.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
I
So
thought we were going to sneak out without having to get that one in.
well, we had one for the seller, one for the buyer. That seems fitting. Alrighty. Before we get into some fun about the year and the schools, also I
Don't
forgot to
forget
tease
the
that at the
schools.
beginning
Wow.
of the show. Let's take a look at the market snapshot as we sit here and see how things are looking early 2019 in the Needham real estate market, and looks like it's the listings. 32 feels about right. 21 seems awfully low.
Yeah, 21 seems really low.
But you can see the numbers dropping a little bit, at least over the last month, as people pull things off. It's not because they're selling or going under agreement.
Right.
People pulling things, letting the holidays kind of come and go before putting them back on. Average list price, that to me is a very encouraging number.
That's-
right?
that's creeping down a little
146,
bit.
yeah,
Yeah.
creeping for sure. And then under agreement, fine, right? Anything else that I missed there?
No, I think you pretty much covered it.
Yeah, feels good. Okay, so that covers the month of December. So now it's a year-end show. So it seems fitting that we kind of talk about the year a little bit.
I think
and
so.
we often talk about the number of sales in every given year seems to be right around that 320, 330 range, right?
This year being no different.
Oh, all right.
Oh,
there
did
you
I
go.
spoil it?
Yeah,
I
you did.
spoiled it.
All right, put it
All
up
right.
anyway. Go ahead. Go ahead, Ryan. Anything you want to say?
322. We fell a little short. We got off to a slow start. I
Yes.
remember. So at the beginning of the year, we're like, all right, come on, sales. So knew we had to get to 330 somehow. So we fell a little bit short, but 322 is still right in the wheelhouse. God knows what happened in 2014, but every other year, I mean, we're right there. And when we start breaking them down in a few minutes by school, it's even more sort of. It's so interesting how everything falls in the same
Right,
bucket.
and we had a quiet December too, right? So if this December was the same as last December, we'd be up at 330
Right,
for the
we'd be
year.
right there.
So so that's a pretty consistent, graph that just basically illustrates that we know every year just about how many houses
Right.
are going to sell. in Needham. The next one should be very encouraging to any sellers out there or any owners of real estate in Needham, and that's your average sales price for all the homes to sell over the course of the previous 6 years. And I knew it was a good year, but
Yeah.
I mean, we were ranting and raving about 16 and 17 as they were unfolding, right?
And as well, we should have.
And 15 and 14 every
Yeah.
year, you know.
Yeah.
But geez,
It's been a steady ascent.
I'd be very curious to see what 19 is going to look
Well,
like compared
stick
to that
around,
number. Or don't.
Okay.
Okay, so that's that. We see the numbers and the prices, and now we get into something that you and I could probably talk about.
You almost need a whole show for this one.
Yeah, well, I mean, we almost need a whole show. I don't know if the viewers necessarily want
It's
30 minutes of it, but it's our annual treat that we like to give out to all the people who watch the show, and that's breaking down all the sales in Needham by elementary school district. And so without any further delay, let's take a look. So Ryan, I like to do this in kind of a measured,
Okay.
instead of just going crazy and bleh.
You tell me what you want to know.
Well, I think what we're going to do is, as you see on the left side, we have all the schools. They are in alphabetical order. So why don't we, now that we know what the schools are, why don't we go column by column?
Okay.
All right, so we'll just start with home sales.
And I'll give you a nice tidbit about each column.
Right, and I'm sure as the viewers are looking at this, they're realizing red means the highest, right, or best, or whatever it may be for each particular column. So go ahead.
The interesting thing about this, about the units sold column, which is that homes column, is that the units, while they're a little bit different for each school over, say, last year, as a percentage of the total, they're Broadmeadows 26% this year, same last year. Elliott 15%. Last year, 14 this year. They're the same.
Yeah. Well,
so no matter what you do, it's the same mix.
which stands to reason.
But that close to, I mean, it's right on the nose.
Yeah, okay.
Which I found interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on to the next one.
Yeah, sure. I like the little pause there in between.
The sales price. So we can put the slide back up if you want to just let people have at it.
No, they can see us every once in a while.
The sales price, first of all, Newman at 1.3, that's a record.
Yeah.
And this is the first year that all 5 school districts averaged over $1 million in sales price.
Right. So thank you, Elliott. Elliott
Good
finally
job,
joins the
Elliott.
fray. Yeah, because Elliott was the one last year that was
Yeah.
less than $1 million in terms of average sales price.
Yep. But
Yeah.
all 5 districts are up over their sales price of last year.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Good. So 1347 for Newman, no surprise there.
No.
They have a lot of bigger homes in
Sure.
the school district. So dollars per square foot, which is always a telling statistic.
And holy hillside.
Yeah, gosh.
So 436. So that's a new high. But it's not the first time that Hillside led the town in price per square foot. And I think people forget about that neighborhood with Clark Road,
Glendale.
over in that little nook. And those are some big properties and some big numbers. And we've had some sales there this year. So
Well, let me also say that you're right. 436 is a new high, but I believe 4 of those are all higher than the previous high, which I think.
no, they're all but everyone's up over last year.
right. But the previous high in terms of dollars per square foot was 394, I think.
Yep, and that was last year at Broadmeadow.
Right. So now we have 4 of them over 400.
Yeah, that's nuts.
That is crazy. All right, good there?
Yep.
All right, let's go to days on market, Ryan.
So, I mean, I got to say hats off to Elliott again.
Yeah.
So 24 days is crazy quick
Yep.
as far as turning homes over. The average for the town at 29 is bananas. It was 37 last year. So most of the districts have decreased. The only one that went up was Hillside from 24 to 34. But that's great for Elliott. I mean, it's just showing that there's town-wide demand.
Yeah, for sure.
And appropriately priced houses.
Yeah. You wonder Hillside, how that's going to change over the next few years too, as the school changes,
Yeah.
right? As it becomes a new elementary school, what does that do to the numbers? Square footage, again, no surprise there, right?
And the least interesting of the 5 categories. But yeah, Newman being the biggest, and it's up from last year quite a bit actually, 400 square feet. But the overall increase is only about 100 square feet, so not a big jump in that category year over year.
All right. So I think we can all agree that the real estate market is healthy, however you break it down.
Yeah.
But that information that we just showed there will be available.
Yep.
Where?
We will tweet this,
Okay.
and you can always call us and email us, and we'll send it to you. But it'll be available on social media.
Yes, correct. Okay, so we still have some time.
Okay.
And as you know, now that we've covered the month of December as well as 2018. I figured we'd have a little bit of fun, celebrate the show. So if you could, do you have your phone? You can use mine if you don't.
Sure.
We just need a timer up. We're going to do a little game here, Ryan, where in 90 seconds, I've got 10 or 12.
Am I being set up to fail?
No, you're not.
Okay.
You should dominate this, to be honest. It's 10 or 12. It's a show-related terms, expressions, words, anything having to do with what's my house worth. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm just going to give you clues to see how quickly you can guess what it is. Does that make sense?
So you're assuming that I've been paying attention for the years that we've been doing this.
Correct. And like, for example, if I said, biggest elementary school in Needham, you'd say?
Newman.
Right. That's not one of them because that's not show specific. So let me just get our production.
That was just Joe's general knowledge?
Yes. Here, I'll take that now. Thank you. Okay. Got it?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So you got the timer on?
I'm not nervous.
No.
I mean, I'm a little nervous.
You're going to be fine.
Am I starting the timer?
I'm just gonna shuffle them all up just to show that there's no shenanigans going on here. Yeah, you're gonna start the timer.
All right.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
Okay, I will just push start when I start talking.
Okay.
Okay. The maximum distance something has to be walked to town.
1 mile.
Correct. The area in Needham most closely associated center of town, like a highest.
What do we call it? I'm nervous.
Okay, you could pass. The neighborhood that
Needham proper.
Needham proper, correct. The area that has Julia, Luard.
First name district.
Correct. You invented that. The neighborhood that connects Webster and Highland. It's like it's a poor man ladder district.
The Stepladder Street.
Stepladder Street, which I came up with. That, of course, Carrie Morton Mellon. Our first guest ever on the show.
Chip Davis.
Correct. Central, a more formal name for Central.
The Avenue.
Correct. The first month and year of our very first show.
March 2012.
Incorrect. February.
Rats.
The neighborhood, my favorite neighborhood.
Olin Woods.
Correct. Not close to town, but far
The
away.
outskirts.
Correct. The two types of houses that we combined that we came up with.
Colonial.
Colonial is correct. The neighborhood that you thought you invented, but it already had a name.
The Valley.
Correct. And lastly, something that's close to town center, but nobody really talks about it. We consider it.
Sneaky walk to town.
Boom.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Jeez. How long?
We had 18 seconds left.
All right. Perfect. So you did it under 90.
Now what do we do?
Yeah, it feels good. So I figured we do a little bit. You want to play again?
Here, I'll read them to you.
That's good, right?
Yeah, that's great.
The one I couldn't remember is a builder who lives in his home.
The migrant builder.
The migrant builder. Darn, I couldn't remember the migrant builder.
Yeah, he lives in his home for the minimum amount of time that is beneficial for tax purposes, then sells it and moves on to another one.
Another one that he then has just built.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. The migrant builder. Okay, so before we came on the air, you did mention that one of your favorite moments of the show. So maybe we could take a couple seconds just to talk about, it's been 6 plus years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So why don't you got something? You got something in mind?
What was I talking about?
Well, you were talking, I think, about since it's Super Bowl time.
Oh, we did for those of you who remember, when we had some filler in January, because there was not that many sales in December, we did, with the upcoming Super Bowl, it was the Broncos and the Panthers.
Yeah.
And you had noticed, starting with Peyton Manning, how many players on each team had last names that were Needham Street.
It was just on the Broncos.
I thought we did both teams.
No, it was just on the Broncos.
The Broncos had like 10 or 11 players that had Needham Streets named
Right,
after.
Stewart, Harris, Manning.
Yeah, so that was fun for us.
Yeah.
As long as it was fun for us.
Yeah, I think the most fun thing for me was, it was always kind of a hoot when we had the guests. Quickly we ran out of guests. The first 6 or so episodes we had a guest, and it was always interesting sitting down with them, thinking, how can we make this interesting? And we probably didn't most of the time, but that, I miss those days. We could have brought that back. Maybe that'll be our next, brainchild as we kind of step away and try to figure out ways to make the show better.
Yeah.
But as we are closing out in time, why don't you give contact information in case anybody wants to reach out to us? Tell us how much they enjoyed the run.
Even as we're on hiatus and we may be, exploring different parts of the world, we still want to hear from you. We are still very much involved in town, and we'd like to be a resource for anyone that needs it. And the best way to get in touch with us, you can call our office, and that number is 781-707-6564. You can email us, as many of you have, at rob.ryan@hawthornre.com. And then I suggest you follow us on Twitter because we're not going away there either. So it's at Hawthorn _ WMHW.
And a heartfelt thank you to all the wonderful people here at the Needham channel who have made this
good
all
job.
possible. It's been a great ride, and I think that just about does it.
Yeah, it's been fun. We may be back on the air sometime in the future, but for now, thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching. If you see us on the street, at the dump, wherever, RTS, or wherever it may be, please don't hesitate to say hello. That will do it for this edition of What's My House Worth. We will probably see you again very
Thanks,
soon.
everybody.